Hi, how you doing? My name's Georgina. Nude thinking counseling. Yes, the place where you strip yourself of all that bullshit and nonsense that's not bringing you to the place you want to be. So, what is the kind of stuff I want to talk to you about today? Romance. Now, with romance, we have this really funny, I'm going to say Hollywood idea of what romance is. And generally it's all about pianos and violins playing in the background and waterfalls and candlelight and champagne and caviar and strawberries and suave men and women dripping with diamonds and all of that kind of bollocks. And I'm going to say bollocks because really, that has very little to do with romance. Well, it could help you set a scene, but really, come on. It's not necessarily just because you have some fabulous jewelry on that you suddenly feel romantic. You might feel completely decadent or really responsible because this is really expensive shit you're wearing. But romance is about being present. Romance is about really being in the moment and seeing each other, being there for each other fully, having all that attention poured on you. And yes, that can come with gifts and flattery and compliments and caring in terms of making a beautiful meal for somebody or making music for playing some beautiful music for them or something along those lines. But the key here is that the intention behind whatever you're doing is that you want to really please this person. You want to know this person. You want to feed their desires, and you want to really have them shine and be happy and radiant in the moment that you are lavishing them with all of this attention. So that's much more romantic than actually doing all the artificial stuff and then saying, okay, simply because we have set the scene, now we're going to be romantic. Now start, be romantic. Come on, Good luck. It's not happening. And another thing that can be really, really, really romantic, and again, it's about attention and it's about being present, is a good conversation. A conversation where you can speak your truth and somebody's really deeply listening to you. They're hearing whatever they're saying and they're open to it. And they're not coming back with all kinds of judgments, but they're just there to really listen, to understand whatever you're saying, to get to know you better, and maybe also to exchange ideas and discover new possibilities together, and feeling that there's this connection, and the connection is, it's heart and mind combined in this beautiful setting of words and thoughts and ideas and inspiration that is just flowing through you. That's very romantic. It's extremely sexy. When somebody is turning me on, I always say, remember, my turn on begins between my ears. Don't start twiddling with my nips, please. Turn me on by talking to me, by getting my mind flowing. And so maybe that works for you too. And now I'm talking about sexiness, but romance is very often connected to sensuality, to sexy. And I don't mean that this is foreplay, that this is, getting ready to have sex. But it's this playful space where you're kind of a bit more free with each other. So, presence, conversation, and then there's silence. Silence together can be extremely romantic too. So I know you have experienced this when, for instance, you go on a hike if you're from the States, but you know, you go for a nice walk along the beach, in the woods, or even a city if that's your thing, and you're looking at beautiful architecture and or rivers through cities can also be those fantastic places. And you're just there together, you're sharing in the moment, and words are not necessary. You know, and maybe you sit down or you're standing there and you're overlooking your view, you're looking at everything you're seeing around you, and you take it in, and you are sharing in that experience, and you are so happy and blissful that this is a shared experience, that both of you have been there in that moment. And yes, of course, you might be saying something like, oh my God, isn't it fantastic? And did you see that or the other? But it's not a deep conversation. It's statements of what you're seeing. But what's underneath that is this silent connection, this bond of sharing this magnificence. And yes, this can happen when we're walking. And I'm giving you kind of over the top. Well, no, it's not an over the top experience. We've all been for a walk, and even this afternoon, I was having lunch with a friend and walking back to my bus. We walked past a beautiful museum which had fantastic architecture, and we just stood there and looked at it and appreciated the building and the brickwork. And then we passed by a little pond, and we noticed a little turtle that was living there. And it's the small things as much as it is the big majestic things that can be those moments that are beautiful to share. And in beauty is a lot of romance. And so why am I saying silence? Is that it is beyond the words that we feel this connection and this experience of romance. So those are a few things I wanted to give you besides the very obvious that you could also try. I'm not judging it, you know. In my experience, candles are generally really effective, and also the soft lighting is really nice, and music is fantastic. But the thing is, you need to both like the music, otherwise it's going to annoy one of you extremely. But a little, you know, for me, it would be jazz, a little light jazz, or a little classical music. But for other people, it could be completely different. So know whatever it is that your partner likes, or your date, or your really good friend. Because you could also share a very romantic moment with a friend. I mean, this afternoon I was with my friend, and I think we genuinely had a very romantic walk. And yes, the walk was 3-4 minutes. It's not about that. It's not about, you know, it taking hours and hours. It's the moments, and it's being present enough to realize that you're having one of those moments, and then savoring it, because they're fantastic. Okay, enjoy the romance and enjoy life, and I'll see you again next time. Take care. Big kiss.